The secondary questions of Mother Devahuti to her son Kapila is over. Now Maitreya Rishi starts speaking. Viditvartham Kapilo Matur Ittam Jata Sneho Yatra Tanvabhijataha Tatvamnayam Yat Pravadanti Sankhyam Provachavai Bhaktivitana Yogam. So here Maitreya Muni, he is speaking to Maitreya Rishi is speaking to Vidura. So here he is quoting the conversation between Devahuti and Kapila. Devahuti and Kapila. Viditva artham Kapilo matuhu ittham. Now, Lord Kapila, after understanding the intent, what is there in the heart of his mother, through various questions what she asked, she is inclined to know about devotional service. There are varieties of ways in which it can be practiced, the different branches, many things, many questions Devahuti asks. Understanding these things, Jata Sneho Yatra Tanva Abhijataha. Jata Sneho, because of compassion. Why compassion? Why did Lord Kapila have compassion towards Devahuti? Because she is his mother. Tanva. Tanva means from her body. Kapila Muni is thinking, from her body I was born. Tattva amnayam yat pravadanti sankhyam. Amnaya means that which is coming from disciplic succession. Because when it comes to the matter of devotional service, spiritual matters, there is no room for mental speculation. Whatever comes to my own mind, my own experimentation, and I give out big philosophies based on that. No, that will not be accepted. What will be accepted? That which is coming from disciplic succession. As even Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, earlier I had told it to Sun God, and it came down from disciplic succession. So that will be accepted. Tattva amnayam yat pravadanti sankhyam provachavai bhaktivitana yogam. And this Sankhya philosophy spoken by Kapila Muni, it contains Bhaktivitana Yogam, because there is another person by the same name Kapila who has given Sankhya philosophy, which contains descriptions about all kinds of different material elements, which doesn't speak about devotional service to the Lord. But that Kapila is different from Devahuti's son Kapila, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what is the Supreme Personality of Godhead speaking? He is speaking about Bhaktivitana Yogam, that Sankhya philosophy which describes about Bhakti Yoga, the varieties of ways in which bhakti can be practiced. So this is what we can see here. So now, from the next verse onwards, Lord Kapila starts speaking. So here Maitreya Rishi is telling he was compassionate to his mother. Yes, there is reason for compassion. He is thinking, yes, I have obtained my body through her. So Kapila Muni is feeling compassionate and he starts explaining. So here we can see there is nothing wrong in feeling compassion towards family members, friends, other countrymen, everyone. Through the high principles of devotional service, we speak about sarva dharman parityajya, give up, abandon all other kinds of religious duties and just surrender unto Krishna. So now, is there anything wrong in feeling compassion towards one's mother? No, there is nothing wrong. Okay, compassion is there. What can be done? So let us see what is Kapila Muni doing here. So he has understood that mother, she is inquisitive to inquire. She is inquisitive. She wants to know about devotional service, how to practice it. So Kapila Muni, in fact, he wanted to leave the house and go away, but he stayed back to give instructions to his mother out of compassion towards her. So next another 2, 3 or more than that, many chapters we find Kapila Muni goes on instructing a lot of things, specifically about devotional service to his mother. Here one thing we can observe is Mother Devahuti wanted to hear, wanted to progress in devotional service. So this was possible. But in many other cases, it may not be possible. So what can be done? If they are ready to hear, yes, we should be ready to tell. If they are not ready to listen, then what can be done? Prabhupada in another place he says, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena. Prabhupada gives many places, like say taking the example of Prahalada. Prabhupada tells this in one lecture, giving the example of a tree. You pour water into the root of the tree, the nourishment will reach throughout all the different parts of the tree. You don't think that if I simply become devotee of Krishna and worship in the temple, then what will happen to my country? What will happen to my family? That will be automatically served. If you serve here Krishna, then you will give the best service to your family and to your society. I'll just read this verse from Bhagavatam, wherein Lord Narsimha tells to Prahalada, Shri Bhagavan Vacha, Trisaptabih pita pota pitribih sahate nagha yad sadhu asya kule jato bhavan vai lokapavanaha. My dear Prahalada, Trisaptabih, 3 times 7, how much? 21. Such generations of Pita or your forefathers, Putaha, are already purified. Pitrabihi saha te anagha. O sinless Prahalada, yet sadho asya kule jato, since because you are being born in this family, bhavan vai lokapavanaha, you can deliver the entire world. There in the purport Srila Prabhupada writes, the word Trisaptabhi means 7 multiplied by 3. In one's family, one can count back 4 or 5 generations to one's great-grandfather or even one's great-great-grandfather's father, whatever. But since the Lord mentions 21 forefathers, this indicates that the benediction expands to other families also. Before the present family in which one has taken birth, one must have been born in other families. Thus, when a Vaishnava takes birth in a family, by the grace of the Lord, he purifies not only that family, but also the families of his previous births. So, these are the descriptions given. So a Vaishnava, a devotee of the Lord, can show his compassion first thing by giving the instructions. Otherwise, he can focus on Tivrena Bhakti Yogena, in a determined way, trying to practice devotional service. And when he becomes a pure devotee, as it is confirmed here in the Bhagavatam, generations together, not only of this life, even of previous lives, the people related to him, everyone becomes purified and becomes eligible for liberation. So this is the greatness of a devotee. So now Kapila Muni starts speaking. Devanam gunalinganam anushravika karmanam sattva evaika manaso vrittis vabhaviki tuya animitta bhagavati bhaktihi siddher gariyasi. Here, Devanam gunalinganam, there are the Devatas. The Devatas here are being compared to the senses. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is compared to the mind, yes. Because above the senses is the mind. Mind is the leader of all the senses. Likewise, just as for all the Devatas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is the leader. Now, if we compare the entire universe as the body of the Supreme Lord, all the different limbs of the Supreme Lord can be compared to the Devatas. Through the different limbs of the body, one can execute different activities. Likewise, through the medium of varieties or various Devatas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead creates, maintains, destroys this cosmic manifestation. Now, the natural position of all the Devatas is to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, the natural condition of all the senses is to serve the Supreme Lord, who is the real Master. But all the senses in its unnatural position, being contaminated by the material modes of nature, what the senses will do? It will go for its own gratification. So this is something abnormal condition. It is because of the influence of the Avaranatmika Shakti and Prakshepatmika Shakti, the covering potency and bewildering potency of Maya. The senses, not being in its natural position, may not be willing to serve the Supreme Lord, who is the real Master. On the other hand, if the senses are engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord, what will happen? That it is its natural position. That is exactly what is known as bhakti. Hrishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. What is bhakti? The senses in its natural condition being engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord, that is bhakti. If it is not engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord, it is just like a haunted condition. A person being haunted by a ghost, something and all he does, some activities he does which is detrimental for himself. May we wonder why this person is acting like this. He is harming himself. Likewise, when the senses are focused towards sense objects, it is in its haunted condition, abnormal condition, not in its normal condition. He is harming himself. So this condition has to be rectified. So the rectification process is bhakti. Engage the senses in bhakti, devotional service, it becomes purified, in its purified condition, there is natural inclination for the senses to serve the Supreme Lord. In its contaminated condition, the inclination is not there. But the solution is also to somehow or the other engage the senses, engage the mind in the service of the Supreme Lord. Yena kena prakarena manah krishne niveshe. Somehow or the other, it has to be engaged. Now, here in this verse, a certain specific hierarchy is given. Gariyasi. Gariyasi means something better. What is better than what? Obtaining mukti or liberation is better than being engaged in material activities of sense gratification. There is material activities, sense gratificatory activities. Something better than that is mukti, or getting salvation, or siddhi, or liberation. There is something even better than that. What is that? Bhakti or devotional service. Bhakti hi siddher gariyasi. Bhakti is better than siddhi, or siddhi here it is referring to getting salvation or becoming liberated, merging in the effulgence of the Lord. So that is better than material siddhi is better than material activity, and bhakti is still better than getting liberation. So now Kapila Muni doesn't stop here at speaking just about simple bhakti. He says, Animitta Bhagavati Bhakti Siddher Gariyasi. How that bhakti should be? It should be animitta. Nimitta means with some cause or with some motive, some agenda or some objective. Animitta, without any motive, without any ulterior objective or goal. This is how bhakti is supposed to be. Of course, even any form of bhakti, somehow or the other, a person engages his mind, his senses in the service of the Lord. It is said to be good. But now we are speaking of something better than that. Simple bhakti, motivated bhakti is better than whatever getting liberation, salvation, merged into the impersonal Brahman effulgence, or performance of some gross material activities of sense gratification. Bhakti is good, but the best is Animitta Bhagavati Bhaktihi. Bhakti which is performed without any motive. If we try to understand the different motives, usually what it will be, Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives 4 stages, 4 varieties. Bhakti or devotional service practiced out of fear. Because of some fear, somehow we engage in devotional service. If I don't do this, someone will come and scold me, or something bad will happen to me. So there is some motive of fear there. Better than that is out of asha or desire. Bhakti performed because of some desire. I want to obtain something, some material prosperity. It may be money or property or subtle name and fame, varieties of things. Out of some desire to obtain these things of the material world, it is okay, it is still better, but not the best. Better than that is out of a sense of duty. Bhakti or devotional service practiced out of a sense of duty, kartavya buddhi, that is still better. I don't want anything. As a matter of duty, Lord has given me everything, let me perform, let me offer Him something. That is still better. And the highest is bhakti practiced out of prema, out of love. unmotivated love, without expectation of anything for oneself, the way the gopis of Vrindavana practiced. Ramya kachidupasana vrajavadhu vargena ya kalpita. That devotional service performed out of love without any expectation for oneself. This was being practiced by the gopis of Vrindavana, which is said to be the highest. We have heard of pastimes of gopis wherein they are so attracted to Krishna. Just on hearing Krishna's flute, they left all their material obligations, other duties, everything, just came towards Krishna. They were not even interested in other form of Krishna. When Vishnu came in front of them, no, they were not interested in him. They wanted only Krishna. And even whatever troublesome situations, just like the story we have heard from Srila Prabhupada of Narada Muni going in search of pure devotees and telling that Krishna wanted to apply the dust of his devotees, and many of them were not ready to offer. If our dust is given to the Lord, whatever, we have to go to hell, we have to suffer there. But the gopis, they were very eager to offer. Let us go to hell. Let us suffer in hellish conditions of life. But let Krishna's headache be relieved. This is the super excellent form of devotional service practiced by the gopis of Vrindavana. So such a bhakti, practice of bhakti, Animitta Bhagavati Bhakti, this is Gariyasi. This is something superior. Now, here specifically we see how it is better than mukti, that much is stated. We can remember the verse like from Nectar of Devotion also, which speaks about different qualities of devotional service, of pure devotional service. There are 6 qualities mentioned, which are Kleshagni, Shubhada, Sudurlabha, Sandranda Visheshatma, Shri Krishna Akarshini, and Moksha Lagutakrit. These are the qualities of pure devotional service. So first thing is, it is Kleshagni. When a devotee, when a person, a living entity starts performing devotional service, immediately Kleshagni, Klesha, all kinds of distressful conditions are eradicated, eliminated from his life. And then it is Shubhada, all auspiciousness is brought. All auspicious things starts happening in his life. And then it is Sudurlabha, it is very rarely obtained. Pure devotional service is not ordinarily obtained, or not that, whatever millions of people have and normally it is obtained. No, it is very, very rare. And then Sandranda Visheshatma, it fills the heart with inexplicable joy. And Shri Krishna Akarshini, bhakti, pure devotional service, has got the potency, power to attract Krishna himself. And then it is said, Moksha Lagutakrit, means it exposes the inanity of liberation. Meaning, moksha or liberation, lagu means it derides or it makes it low. Because outside world we see there are many so-called practitioners or followers of the Vedic literatures, but majority of them, they will be impersonalists or Mayavadis who consider the Supreme Lord as being without a form. The ultimate thing is to merge into the effulgence. That's what all of those descriptions are there. And they think this is the highest. The Brahmananda, the happiness derived from merging into the existence of the Lord, that is the highest they consider. But a devotee, after he practices devotional service, how does he feel? The happiness obtained from moksha or becoming one with the Lord or Sayujya Mukti, it is very low. In fact, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it is explained how if a person says the happiness obtained from mukti, merging oneself in the existence of God, multiplied by millions of times, then it equals the happiness derived from bhakti. If we say this, it is a false statement. You are minimizing. If it is said the happiness obtained from getting mukti multiplied by millions of times is equal to the happiness of bhakti, it is wrong. It is minimizing what? Not the position of mukti, it is minimizing the position of bhakti. Because the happiness obtained from performance of bhakti is more than the happiness of mukti multiplied by millions of times. It is something more than that. So it will be a false statement if we say this. This is what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So also we can hear, like say we see the pastime of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Earlier he was an impersonalist. Later, by the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, lot of discussion happens. Then at one point of time he becomes so dejected or wants to away from the concept of mukti that like he changed the word in that shloka tattenu kampam susamikshamaano bunjana eva atmakritam vipakam hridvagvabubir vidadan namaste mukti pade sabdaya bhak. He changed it into bhakti pade. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard, no, it's not bhakti, it's actually mukti there. Then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was so fed up of whatever his earlier, so much of addiction he had towards mukti or liberation. He doesn't want to utter that word also. So he has changed that word. Of course, later Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no, you can't change the verses of the scriptures. And he explains to him. So this is how, through all these statements, we can understand merging into the existence of God or liberation into the impersonal Brahma Jyoti, all these things, bhakti is far superior to it. Last one quote, let me tell from the Bhagavad Gita 12th chapter, and we'll conclude from this, wherein Krishna says, Klesho adhikatarastesham avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavadvir avapyate. For embodied living entities in this material world, this path of whatever towards mukti, it is klesha, the impersonalistic way, or worshipping the Supreme Lord in His impersonal form. This is very, very difficult. On the other hand, the next verse Krishna says, Yetu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matparaha ananyenaiva yogena mam dhyayanta upasate. On the other hand, those devotees giving up all their other activities, material activities, ananyenaiva yogena, undeviatingly they are engaged in my service. What will I do? Teshamaham samudharta mrityu samsara sagarat. I will elevate them or pick them out of this mrityu samsara sagara, ocean of birth and death. How? Bhavami na chirat partha maya veshita chetasam. Not that after prolonged performance of devotional activities or whatever. No, Krishna says there, very quickly, swiftly, very swiftly, I'll pick them out from this ocean of birth and death. So considering all these statements of scriptures and specifically what Kapila Muni says here, so we have to give up all those sorts of conceptions of impersonalistic views, jnana, all those things, away from that, and just focus on undeviated devotional service directed towards the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is considered to be the best. We'll end with this. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.